What is up, ladies and gents? Ghost here. So that's it, boys and girls. Officially, Battlefield 5 is no longer being supported. As you guys know, and most people know by now, the next Battlefield title is due to be released maybe towards the end of 2021, if not 2022. Most Battlefield games come out in October till November, sort of right before Christmas time, so I would assume that's when the next Battlefield game will be releasing on the new Xbox and PlayStation consoles as well as PC, so that's most likely going to be October, November 2021, so that's in about 1.5 years. And of course, most of us had assumed that DICE would continue to support Battlefield 5, continue to make new content, new maps, new weapons, new vehicles, new gadgets, etc. until the new game arrives, or at least is right around the corner. So a couple of hours ago, they posted on the official Battlefield 5 forums a blog post entitled The Future of Battlefield 5, which was posted by Ryan MacArthur, the senior producer. And he says, as you are aware, the current Battlefield 5 chapter Into the Jungle wraps up on April 29th. As we look to the future, we will release one more standalone update this summer that brings with it some new content, weapons and game tweaks. We are targeting June for this update. We're still tackling the challenges from working from home, and we'll let you know how things progress for us over the next month. And then he goes on to do a little piece about continuing to work with anti-cheat, and there's not really much more of that. So they don't exactly spell it out in this update that they are ending this content for Battlefield 5, but a lot of people have been replying to the Battlefield 5 Twitter account and asking, what do you mean the way you've worded this? Because they say we will release one more standalone update this summer, and people were asking, does that mean that this is the next update? Is this the last update? Like, be clear about what you're talking about here. And here you can see a tweet where somebody asks after which the game will essentially end content-wise, or will there be further content during the winter? And they reply saying, we're continuing with new weekly missions and new rewards, and our update this summer will deliver new content to support that. We otherwise have no further content planned beyond our updates to community games and ensuring healthy game performance. So for the next year and a half, there is going to be pretty much nothing new coming to Battlefield 5. No new maps to play on, as far as we know, no new weapons, no new gadgets. They're just going to continue to support the servers and try to fix the anti-cheat as best they can and just keep the servers alive so that people can play the game. Honestly, I think the new content, or potential content that I thought may have been coming to Battlefield 5, has literally been like the only reason that I still play the game somewhat. If there's nothing new coming, you may as well just go and play Battlefield 4. I mean, sure, Battlefield 4 doesn't have any new content, new maps and whatnot coming either, but it's a hell of a lot better game than Battlefield 5 is. I mean, I don't think anybody can really debate that at this point. So that's a massive kick in the nuts to everybody. I mean, people who have recently bought the game expecting a ton of content until the next Battlefield title releases, they're going to be left with nothing right now. But honestly, I mean, I don't really blame DICE for cutting their losses and just abandoning Battlefield 5. I think at this point, with the amount of people who are outraged at the current DICE team who are working on Battlefield 5, if they want to bring that player base back into a new Battlefield game, their best chance is just to knuckle down on whatever new title is being made and just try to make it a hell of a whopper, man. I mean, they need it to be extremely successful. They need to blow everything else out of the water in order to bring back the community. And I know whatever the next Battlefield game is, no matter what people say now, I'm not going to buy a new Battlefield game, blah, blah, blah. I know there are a ton of people who will play the next Battlefield game, and that's where DICE will have their chance. But on this point, I agree with DICE. There's no way they're going to bring back the community. They can do whatever they like. They could make 10 new maps and 10 new weapons and shove a load of content into the game, but it's still not going to bring back the player base that Battlefield 4 saw in its heyday. I don't know how the Battlefield franchise got to this point, guys. Like, of course, Battlefield 5 was never really a lot of people's cup of tea, but they just made mistake after mistake since then. Why could they not just listen to what the community wanted and try to tailor the game more towards what people were actually interested in seeing? I know they couldn't just go and, for example, shove a load of vehicles into the game. That would totally have thrown off the balance, I suppose. But, you know, I made a video a few days ago about the CTE and how all of the past Battlefield games have had that. And if Battlefield 5 would have had that, they would have been able to rectify a lot of the mistakes they made with the TTK changes that they just shoved into the game with reckless abandon and no regard to the player base whatsoever. You know, and they did this right after the Pacific update that was just starting to bring some players back. So this is a bummer. This is a bummer for players. It's a bummer for content creators as well. You know, people out there who, you know, I myself, I don't make too many videos on Battlefield 5, but this is obviously going to be a massive downer for anybody who's interested in Battlefield 5. It's definitely going to mean a drop in the player base, which was already pretty low as it is. And I'm sure there are other content creators out there that only work on Battlefield 5 and do Battlefield 5 videos, you know, and they love the game and they support it. And imagine how they must feel now, knowing that they're going to have nothing really to do content about for the next year and a half. I mean, I'm kind of laughing, but it's really not funny. You know, I think the fact that there are so many players still playing games like Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, and hell, even Hardline, and the fact that I myself am still having a fun time playing Battlefield 4 and creating content on that game, it's just a testament to how good those games were, and why I'm not playing the newer games as much. So what are Battlefield 5 players going to do? Needless to say, a lot of players who have played the previous games are going to go back to Battlefield 1, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3, whatever your favourite title is. That is probably going to be the place you want to go if you want that Battlefield experience for the next year and a half, guys. And outside of that, I'm sure that 99% of the player base who love the Battlefield franchise are going to move on to other games if they haven't already. The question is, will the next Battlefield game be good enough to pull people back into it? Infinity Ward recently, of course, Call of Duty, one of the biggest contenders for the top spot between that and Battlefield. They've really outdone themselves this time around. They made a great game, and then they've made Warzone free-to-play, which blew Firestorm out of the water. So DICE are really going to have to do something special to bring back their community next time around. But I think this could be a good thing, guys. You know, EA and DICE, they're going to have to eat a slice of humble pie, man, and realise that they're not a top dogs anymore. They've been knocked down a fair few rungs on the ladder, and it's time for them to claw their way back up. And I really sincerely hope that the Battlefield franchise manages to do that. Right, guys, I'm going to leave it here. Please leave your thoughts down below, as I'm sure a lot of you have different experiences and opinions of your own that you wish to express. I'm sorry this one has been a bit rambly. I didn't script it or anything. I just wanted to kind of get my thoughts down straight after reading this, and yeah, I kind of flabbergasted, man. I'm surprised. I didn't think it had come to this. I didn't think it had got this bad, man. Shout out to Sierra for actually bringing this to my attention. Thanks, dude. As always, thank you for watching, guys. Feel free to leave a like down below. I would say leave a dislike if you don't like the news, but then probably everyone would dislike this video, so I'm not going to say that. Have a good one, guys, and I'll see you next time.